Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrecht and Tommy Kester.
Hey, welcome in, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you here on Sports Daily. Jacob Albrecht, Tommy Kester alongside you. Glad to be here. It's an exciting time of year. We're getting ready for the NFL playoffs. We had Monday Night Football, wildly entertaining version of Monday Night Football last night. Of course, it's college basketball season. A lot to talk about there. We'll talk some Kansas City Chiefs. That will come up at the top of the hour with Dan Israel and probably before. But Dan will join us top of the hour, our Chiefs insider, executive producer of the Chiefs Radio Network. I'm Jacob Albrecht alongside Tommy Kester. Jad Chambers producing for us, and we have a lot of good stuff for you. The IHOP hotline will be open here in the first hour at 869-1240. IHOP, the official breakfast partner of Xbox, celebrating with exclusive Xbox merchandise, games, reward offers. We've got some HTO to give you a little later in the show as well. Tommy, good morning. How are you?
You know, I'm good. I was mentioning to Jad right before we came on the air, I never thought that a Monday Night Football game between Bo Nix and Jameis Winston would be like an instant classic, but it ended up being that way. It was so much fun. I'm excited to talk about that today.
Yeah. Me too. That was a fun game. Bo Nix is good. Like, Bo Nix looks really good.
He is.
And I was way wrong about how he would translate as a pro, but he looks fantastic. I don't know. You know, they were an interesting watch last night because they made all the big plays on defense, but certainly Jameis and that Cleveland offense moved the ball around on them through the air mostly. You know, Jameis was Jameis, maybe the most exciting player to watch in the NFL because just something's going to happen when Jameis is in there at quarterback. Never boring. I lost sleep. I'm so mad at myself. The games that get to 73 points should universally make everybody a lot of money, like a lot of money. That was a money-making game if you're a bettor last night, or if you mess around with all the, like same game parlays and player props and everything. Like, everything was out there except like one key player didn't do it. Vele, this guy for Denver, who's been good every week. And I put him in both of my big ones for some stupid reason. And I missed them both. Like, destroyed every other leg of the prop.
Every other player on the roster has got a bunch of yards.
Literally everybody, except for that guy. And I put him in both of them. For some reason, I never do that. That was such a stupid thing to do. And I'm so mad at myself. It was still, it's one of those games where, like, for me, so what I'll do, especially for the primetime games, is I'll go through like all the apps and see what, like boosters and promos, and then I'll throw a little at all their boosters. I still had a good night, but I almost had a great night. I'm so mad about it. And I know other people out there too. Nick Chubb was the other one. He didn't do his part, I think, for a lot of people. But man, that game was insane for all the right reasons. That's the kind of football for me. I loved that game last night. It was so fun. Jameis Winston's one of my all-time favorite players to watch. I cannot believe how good Bo Nix looks. Like, all the chatter's been about Jaden Daniels, and he's been really good. And I still really like the upside of Caleb Williams. I think he's going to be really good. We'll see on J.J. McCarthy. We'll see on Penix. Drake May has looked pretty good. And Bo Nix, he looks like right now the quarterback out of the class. He's looked incredible.
Well, and really, how different is this Denver offense this season compared to when Russell Wilson was the quarterback? It's not that different. No. Like there are a couple of changes here and there. And, you've seen really the resurgence, I guess, to an extent on Marvin Mims and Javonte Williams running the ball. Like, all the different key pieces they have are pretty solid, but a lot of them were there when Russell Wilson was the quarterback. It wasn't the right fit for Wilson. It is the right fit for Bo Nix. And that helps a lot. And I think defensively, Denver, they were opportunistic last night. They had a couple of pick sixes on Jameis and,
sure,
the one to seal the game and, all of that. They gave up a lot of yards, a lot of big plays. That's kind of been unlike what Denver has done over the last, several weeks, especially, recently. But I think all in all, it shows that Denver is, I think, for real. I don't know if they are a legitimate contender this season, but they're at least knocking on the doorstep of being a team, if they can continue this growth, to be a real legitimate contender in the future.
Yeah, look, and Bo Nix wasn't incredible last night specifically. He didn't even complete 50% of his passes. He had a couple of picks. So don't misunderstand, but he's making plays as a rookie where you're just like, okay. And that was like, for me with him, that's kind of what I didn't know if he'd be able to do, right? Is make those kinds of throws. And he looks the part. I don't know how else to explain it other than he looks like he's going to be good. And by the way, Russell Wilson has Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't the right situation for Russell Wilson.
It just wasn't a good
situation in Pittsburgh, and Bo Nix has found a really good situation in Denver.
I really, really, really want those two teams to play in the playoffs. That would be incredible to see Pittsburgh and Denver go at it. Denver at 8-5 now, kind of based on what else is happening around them. Indianapolis just doesn't look very good. Cincinnati's going to be out of it now. Denver looks like, I think, I guess Miami could technically still get in there, but they had the loss. It looks like Denver's going to have a pretty good run at just kind of making it through the AFC right now. And so that's sort of it. They've got 2 games on Indianapolis. I mean, we're not out of the woods totally for Miami, I suppose. It would take Denver kind of collapsing though a little bit. Denver's got the same record as Baltimore right now. So those are sort of your 2 teams. It sounds crazy to say, well, Baltimore would be in danger of missing the playoffs. They have the same record as Denver. So the AFC playoff picture looks like it's kind of just there and we're done with it. I don't know. I'm with you. I don't think they're real contenders. But they're at least fun to watch. And I know Chiefs fans hate them, and that's great. But I like any time in the NFL we get good quarterback play, or at least exciting quarterback play. And we had that last night, and we had a really, really entertaining football game. And man, I just loved it. And I love Jameis. How do you not love Jameis?
Yeah, I think
he keeps you entertained.
Yeah, there were a couple big things that I took away from the game, and from a larger viewpoint. I mean, number one, I wasn't sure going into this season that Sean Payton was going to work out long term.
Yeah,
in
me neither.
Denver. I mean, because it was a disaster a year ago with Russell Wilson. But you know what? Payton got Wilson out of town, brought in his guy, and I mocked the draft pick. I mocked when they drafted Bo Nix. I didn't think it was the right move. Sean Payton said they got the guy they wanted all along, which I felt like was disingenuous at that time, but he really did get the guy he wanted, and he has brought along Bo Nix in a really nice way, and I think re-solidified himself as the right coach for the Broncos into the future. And then number 2, it's hard to watch the Browns and not think to myself, their record would be better if they had went to Jameis Winston earlier in the season. Because really the entire team is about the same. I know they moved on from Amari Cooper and all of that, but like they wouldn't be 3-9 if Jameis had been the starter from day one.
I feel like I said that in like week 3. It's Deshaun Watson is not good at football. And it was so obvious last year when replacement value was better. And this year watching him play, like this dude is never like he sucks. Like he's not going to win any games. He for whatever reason, like he's just, and then you get Jameis in there and all you got to do is fire away. They've got all kinds of, even minus Amari Cooper, they have all kinds of weapons there. Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore are really good receivers. Yeah. Njoku's he's got
Njoku's one of the best tight ends in the league right now.
If he could only catch the ball consistently, but yeah,
right. Yeah,
he's good though. And they have Nick Chubb back now. Like that's not a bad team. And it'll be interesting to see what they do. If they just sit and eat the Deshaun Watson money. I mean, I would roll with Jameis next year. Jameis is what he is. If you can get a little better defensively to help you cover up some of the risks Jameis is willing to take, then, and obviously that doesn't help you in a pick 6. And he knows that last night, but like he's going to throw interceptions. It's Jameis Winston. But he at least opens up the offense a little bit. And a good defense, like they have a much better chance with him probably than anything else they can do. I highly doubt I guess they could draft a quarterback here, but the Deshaun Watson era is over. Like he's just not good at all. And they're just going to have to sit on that money because they guaranteed all of it. But they don't he's not good. Like, why would you ever go back to him unless injury forced you to? They should be done with that chapter of their lives. Like he's not good. It was a mistake. Maybe the worst contract in the history of football, if not pro sports. It's time to be done with him. Jameis Winston is better right now. Joe Flacco was better. They basically anybody has been better than what Deshaun Watson has done for them since he's been a Cleveland Brown.
By the way, last night I was really happy for Jerry Jeudy. Because he went back to Denver, and that was the team that drafted him. And he was, I think there was a lot of pressure put on his shoulders to be the leader of that offense. And really when they didn't have what they needed at quarterback, and it was really tough going for Jerry Jeudy for quite a while. He goes to Cleveland, and, he was, I think, interviewed before the game about what it was like or what he was thinking about going back to Denver. And he's like, I just want to, go and beat him up, or whatever his words were. He wanted to have a good showing, basically, back in Denver, and he did.
He said, kick their A word is what he
exactly.
said.
I mean, like he had a good showing. He had that long bomb from Jameis that was the answer from the Bo Nix, Marvin Mims touchdown, and so that was really good to see. I always like it when players are able to go back to the team that drafted them and have a good showing, and so that was great. But I agree with you. I mean, I think they've got some pieces where they can have a relative, I think a good amount of success in the AFC. Are they going to be Super Bowl contenders anytime soon? Will Jameis win them a championship? Probably not, but he does give them a better chance than what they had trotted out there before. I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, no question. Good to see. Love it. Love it. Love it. Just a fun game. Offense is so fun. Like when there's offense like that, like just bring it on. Those games to me are better. But anywho, it was a game featuring two teams that you might have worried about the outcome. I felt like there were going to be a lot of points in that game, and there were. We'll see what kind of contender Denver is. I don't know what to make of them. I know that they've got some real weapons defensively, as much as they're maybe not a great overall defense. And Bo Nix, he looks like a gamer. Like he looks like he's going to get in there and be able to sling it and, provide a jolt of energy for an offense that's needed it for honestly quite a while now. All right. So we have some other NFL news and notes to get to. Injury news, a suspension here this morning that has been certainly headline grabbing. So we'll get into all of that. We'll begin to look at the Chiefs and their matchup this week against the Chargers. We'll have Dan Israel in a little later in the show, and we'll talk some college hoops. We got a lot to get to on this Tuesday. Your calls on the IHOP hotline at 869-1240. Thank you to Prairie Fire Coffee for keeping us fueled up each and every morning here on KFH. It's Albrocht and Caster at Sports Daily. We're coming right back.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch. 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back in, everybody. Crestview Country Club getting geared up for the holiday season. All the Christmas parties, brunches, New Year's parties, and all the indoor activities, including a golf simulator. I'm headed over there today. Check out the simulator. Tommy's talked me into maybe getting some new irons, trying to get there with the game. So I'm going to head over. They've got their golf staff. They're going to help me. They're going to select that, tell me all the things that are wrong with me, I'm sure, make me cry.
That's why you need to hit those bets. That way you have enough money to buy.
This is why I'm so angry. By the way, because that one last night, if Vele just had about 15 more, if he comes anywhere near what he's done lately, I've got my new set of irons paid for. That's what made me so mad. It's not because I lose bets all the time. Like, it's not a big deal. But man, I had it in the bag. I was like, I'm watching at halftime. And that's never a good thing, right? I should just like not watch. But I'm watching it at halftime. I'm like, man, they're throwing the ball a lot. Like, I got a lot of I got my long shots here, feel like they might be in play. And so at halftime, everything's looking pretty good. And then I'm like, all right, let me just check and see. Let me just check and see what I had in all these. And I look and I'm like, okay, like we're cooking here. Like we're not close to being there. And then they both hit those bombs early in the third quarter, which put two legs, like they put both the quarterbacks over and two of the receivers. And I'm like, okay, now we're really cooking. And then it just kept going and kept going and kept going. And I'm like, all right. And then I'm like, yeah, but Bailey still needs, he still needs another probably 2 catches to get there, maybe 1 catch on a big play. And I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. And then the game script flipped around on me. And I'm like, no, Jameis. No, I need them behind. I need them playing from behind.
Can you imagine the wild swings in fantasy football? I know in one of the leagues I'm in,
was nuts, dude. It was crazy.
I had Njoku, I had Jerry Jeudy, and I had the Denver defense. And even though the Denver defense gave up a bunch of points, they had 2 pick sixes. So it was incredible. Like I was behind. I wasn't projected to win. Then all of a sudden I win that matchup. And like we're basically in playoff time in fantasy football, like getting close to it, where teams are battling to make the playoffs in their respective leagues. I imagine there were a lot of like really wild, crazy fantasy football outcomes because of last night.
Yes, there were. The message boards that I'm on were all going ballistic, basically. And I knew that's why. I'm just like, I'm not even going to try to keep up with this, right? Some of those fantasy football apps where you get notified on message board things, that really annoys me. But it's just like bzz, 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 the entire game. And I'm like, okay, what we have here are 2 guys talking trash, and now nothing can be accomplished on your phone for a little while. It was a fun game. Give me all the offense all the time, and we're still working on hitting some bets to pay for those golf clubs. Anyway, thanks to Crestview for sizing me up today and pointing me in the right direction on that. The simulator is pretty cool in there. So that's what we'll be doing. Get out there, check them out. They got all kinds of different memberships. Tell them we sent you from Sports Daily. What do you make of this Azeez Al-Shaair situation, Tommy? Just an absolutely brutal, stupid, unnecessary, gross hit on Trevor Lawrence, sends him out of the game. Brawl ensues, as it should have. That dude, quite frankly, should have had his ass kicked right there on the field. They tried, his teammates. I applaud his teammates, Lawrence's, for stepping up in that way. But like, you're the NFL, like, and it'd be one thing. This is kind of a repeat offender. Like, he didn't back down. He kept throwing a fit. Like, you cannot have that. And it comes down this morning that they suspend him for 3 games, and just like those days of football are over, whether you like it or not. They're gone. Like those hitman days are not a part of the game anymore, at least the league. And quite frankly, I don't think most people want them to be. Like, we see those hits now, and in 20 years ago, they made video highlight reels about it, and we were just like, yeah, that was incredible. And now with all the other stuff and the things we know about concussions, like, we all just kind of like, ugh, like what? Ugh, gross.
Yeah, it was not
we don't
not
want
fun.
to see that.
I watched it in real time, when it happened on Sunday. I had Red Zone on, and they were talking about it. And it was just a brutal hit. I will say, I think the thing that is most disappointing, at least in my mind with all of this, is I don't know if you saw D'Amico Ryans yesterday talking about the hit.
I did not.
Put the blame on Trevor Lawrence. And that was just shameful. He said that quarterbacks don't know how to slide nowadays, and that was the reason he left himself open for it, and they stand behind Azeez and everything that happened.
He's a team captain, and it wasn't a good slide. But
so his quote was, "We stand behind Azeez and everything that came from that. Of course, the unfortunate hit on a quarterback, but it's twofold. A lot of the quarterbacks in this day and age, they try to take advantage of the rule where they slide late and they try to get an extra yard. Now you're a defender, and a lot of the onus is on the defender, whether it's on the sideline or it's on the quarterback. You don't know what a guy is thinking. You don't know if a guy is staying up and he's continuing to run. You don't know, and you get a late slide and you hit the guy. Unfortunate that Trevor got hurt." So, he put the blame on kind of Trevor Lawrence on that.
Yeah.
And I get that it wasn't a great slide, but also, Azeez Al-Shaair like led it in with his shoulder. Like
and then kept it going. Like, no remorse whatsoever. So that's interesting, because I had not heard that, because I agree with it. Now, the optics and the timing of it are not correct. Like, you still need to lay blame on your player for a dirty hit, because that was a dirty hit.
He also went on to say, by the way, D'Amico Ryans said the entire thing is Azeez hits the guy, but their sideline overreacts and it turns into a melee. It wasn't our guys. Their team overreacted.
Well, yeah, what are they supposed to do?
Our guy to the sideline. So that's uncalled for on that side. We have to be better on the sideline as well with both teams.
I love D'Amico Ryans. I honestly, I think he's pretty right about everything, other than you have to know when to pick that fight, and it's not right now. He's not wrong about the sliding issue. I watch games all the time and think the same thing. A, learn how to slide. And B, it does bother me when we are trying rightfully to protect quarterbacks that way, but then quarterbacks do, like they'll kind of juke and take the last few yards. And I'm like, what's the defender supposed to do there? Like, he thinks he's going to go down for a slide and the quarterback like tries to break his ankles and juke him. Like, that sucks too. I don't know what you do about that.
I think you take away the slide. I mean, I think that like that's got to be.
Yeah, but then what? Then how do you protect the quarterback? Like, you just don't.
Would you rather have a quarterback get like be regularly tackled, or would you rather a quarterback slide and get his head taken off, like what happened with Trevor Lawrence?
I'd need a little data on that. I'm not sure. I'd have to know like what is the rate of quarterback injury, I guess, on a slide and a hit like that versus when somebody can just tee off on them as a runner, which, by the way, if you're running, you give yourself up that way. And it can a wide receiver slide and be protected? I don't even know, honestly. I'm not sure. I mean, there are plenty of players over the years who probably would have slid to protect themselves, right? Like Randy Moss, would he have ever just kind of, ducked down? And I don't necessarily have a problem with that. But I do think, like, for quarterbacks especially, there are a lot of times where you're like, okay, they're going to give themselves up, and then they don't. And they end up getting a first down.
When they give themselves up, they become vulnerable. I mean, it's not
right.
like
it was a bad slide.
They're not expecting to get hit in that moment because they're going down and giving themselves up. That's the crux of the issue. And I wonder if the quarterback knows that they can't do that. Like, that's not going to be something where they just can give themselves up and they don't get that protection anymore. If they know they're going to get hit, then the body braces itself, I think, a little bit more. You can be a little bit more prepared for a hit to be brought down, all of that. I don't know. I feel like getting rid of the slide might ultimately be the best situation because then it's an even playing field. And at least the quarterback then knows, okay, I'm probably going to get hit if I take off running. So I'm going to have to brace myself and try to do what I need to do to protect myself. When they give themselves up, it's out of their hands at that point. There's nothing else that they can do to really protect themselves, right? Like, they go down and then they're putting the trust in the other player that the other player is not going to hit them. And that's a really precarious position to be in.
Yeah, look, it is a tough situation now. Shair's hit was dirty. Like, I don't care what you think about Trevor Lawrence's slide. That was a dirty hit. It was stupid. Like, he clearly was like targeting, that's the definition of it. And that part of the game is just not a part of the game anymore. He's a repeat offender. But he's a team captain, so I get it.
I don't think that the Jags overreacted, according to
D'Amico
Ryan.
They did not. I think, but John Runyon's letter today even says, like, you continued to escalate the situation. I'm like, well, the Jags escalated it, but they needed to, right? That absolutely should have and had to happen. Like, if you're going to take a shot at a guy like that, just like you deserve to get your tail kicked by a 350-pound lineman. That's what should happen, because you're taking a shot at a guy who, whether it's a bad slide or not, like, the way that he tackled him was aimed at tackling him on a slide, right? It's not like where they overrun the player and accidentally get him. No, like, he anticipated the slide. He dove downward at him. And so it's dirty hit.
And isn't it similar to the whole rules that the NFL have put into place with defenseless receivers? Like, they go up to get
totally, and they should do that.
And they're not in a position to where they can defend themselves, where they can brace themselves for a hit, and then it ends up being a dangerous situation. And so I understand, don't get me wrong, I completely understand why the NFL has the slide rule in place, and they're giving themselves up, the quarterback is, and they're defenseless and all of that. But you are then expecting the other person, if you're the quarterback, to abide by those rules, and you're putting your trust in their hands. And when it's somebody like Al-Shaair who didn't do that and has a history of not doing that, that's the concerning thing. So it almost becomes counterproductive. That rule almost becomes counterproductive at that point, where it might just be better to let Trevor Lawrence take a hit when he's ready for it, embrace himself to know that he's going to get tackled. It's the same thing as far as like taking a sack, right? Like, you know, at least if it's not a blind side, sack, at least you can kind of expect it a little bit, embrace your body and protect yourself when you're going down, to an extent. So I think that's really where it becomes counterproductive and something that the NFL should take a look at.
Yeah, I don't know what the perfect answer is, but protecting the players from those kinds of things are the correct answer. I mean, that's the correct answer. Like, we can't have we're to the point now where is a defensive back, you just need to make a play on the ball, right? And not try to blow somebody up in the middle. It's just the way the game's going to be played now. And I like it, quite frankly, because the worst thing to me, well, as a viewer, as a consumer, the worst thing to me is star players getting hurt. I hate injuries. They suck. They ruin everything, right? So let's try to avoid that. And then, the morality issue of what we know now, it's just, there's not a choice. It just is what it is. But that suspension handed down 3 games. He'd be back right in the final game of the regular season. He's
I'm
a
sure
key
he'll
player
appeal
for them.
that, right? Isn't he going to appeal that? I would imagine.
I wouldn't if I were him. What's going to happen if it delays? I mean, you got to just take it, because if it delays too long, it could bleed into the postseason. I mean, I don't know that he won't or will, but I wouldn't, because right now you can take it and you're in no danger of missing a playoff game. I think it'd be risky to appeal it. I mean, I'm just watching videos of him like punching people in the face. Like, he's got a history. He's not going to win that appeal. Sometimes you do that to take it later, but if they take it any later, he's going to get suspended in the postseason. Yeah, I'm watching.
Yeah, but maybe then you get a trade-off of where, they cut it down to 1 game or 2 games or, something like that, where, I mean, that would be the reason why you would appeal it, would be in the hopes that you get that.
I wouldn't. If I were him or if I were D'Amico Ryans, I would say, dude, just take it, because there's too much risk. Like, that we would lose you for a postseason game. We can't have that. And Indianapolis is bad, and Houston's not playing well right now. I don't think Indianapolis is going to catch them. So I don't think there's much risk. Just wear it, take it, move on with your life. But an interesting situation nonetheless. All right, let's take a break here. I want to come back. Let's get into the college football playoff, sort of predicted. I know it comes tonight. We've known it was going to be wild and chaotic and crazy. And, we just about had the SEC in a precarious situation. Now they look much better. Had Georgia not been able to come back against Georgia Tech. We'll get into all of that, what it means. I don't think there are any surprises for the Big 12. Is the Big 12 getting screwed at all if they only get 1 team in? We'll get into all of that here. Let's give away some HTO on the way out. You can win a free iced tea and a free Reign coffee, iced or hot. All you got to do is text the keyword TEA to the short code 20357. You can enter once per day. Message and data rates apply. Good luck there. You can get BOGO 50 on coffee drinks the rest of the week, until Thursday, I should say, if you want to swing by there between 8 and 10 in the morning as well. Good luck, everybody. We'll come back. CFP Talk when we return on Sports Daily.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch. 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-1 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems
Why are they hiding it?
and real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right, welcome back in, everybody, to Sports Daily. Glad to be here with you on a Tuesday. We got Dan Israel coming up top of the hour. Let's talk a little college football here, Tommy. The rest of college football. We talked KU, K-State yesterday. Neither of them are going to be in the playoff picture. So we don't look. Tonight's CFP isn't the end-all, be-all. It's moderately important, but we still have conference championship games to play. We don't know how this is going to shake out. Right now, if we look at the AP Top 25, which is out, it's fairly predictable. Ohio State falls down to 7. Ohio State, that's a bad loss, but Ohio State's going to get into the playoff. The one that bugs me probably the most right now, Tommy, and I don't think that they'll get jumped, although I think that they should. Indiana should not be in the playoff. Like, you can't lose the only good game you've played all year and get into the college football playoff. To me, they bother me the most. If we get into this and Alabama gets in, right, with the losses in Tennessee and whatever, those would, I guess, be the other two. I don't have a problem with that because I think you can make the case that those teams are some of the top teams. Indiana's not very good. I mean, they're good. Sorry. Indiana's good.
Indiana's really good.
But their resume sucks.
Yeah. Who would you put in above them, though? Well, I'm looking at who's underneath them that might be the first or second team out, and I'm not sure that I feel convinced that any team below them is worthy of it ahead of them. Like, I mean, Miami lost. I wouldn't put Miami in there over them. Maybe South Carolina would be a team that I would look at, but I just don't feel like there is a really good replacement team out there that is a better option than Indiana right now.
I think that's where you can look at the Big 12, depending on how that shakes out, right? You could look at, but look at Tommy. Look at who they've played. I mean, look at who Indiana's played.
What are you advocating for two teams from the Big 12?
Not necessarily. I'm advocating. Here's what I'm advocating for Indiana to not be in this playoff. You cannot get rewarded for playing that crap schedule and losing the only quality game that you played. You can't. Like, that is a joke. That would be like, well, why don't we let all these mid-majors in that have great records, right? Why don't we? Because they haven't played anybody. Neither has Indiana. Their schedule is an absolute joke. Now, they're not in total control of that, but we're going to have a 10-win BYU team. You're telling me right now, if Indiana and Colorado played, who wins that game?
Oh man, I honestly don't know. I think that would be a really, really good matchup that I'd love to see. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Colorado wins that game. I honestly don't.
Indiana this year, if you go and look, they've played one good team, and it was Ohio State, and they lost by 23 points. Who's the next best game they played? Michigan? Michigan was 7-5 this year.
Michigan just beat Ohio State.
Correct. Michigan itself was 7-5 this year.
Right.
Who else?
Just beat Ohio State.
That's great. I'm glad we can go by osmosis for every team in the country.
No, I'm just saying, I wouldn't it's not that Michigan was.
great. I'm asking, is Michigan their next best win? Is that probably it?
Probably,
because Michigan State's not good, Washington's not good. I'm just looking. Nebraska's not good. Northwestern's not good. Maryland's not good. And then it's Charlotte, UCLA, and some cupcakes. That's Indiana's schedule this year. They have played one high-quality game, and they lost by 23 points. That's it. And if you want to call Michigan a quality game, that's okay. They won it by 5 at home.
I think it's probably a quality game. I think.
Yeah, they're 7-5. Michigan's 7-5.
Next there is probably Washington. Washington's not a bad team.
Washington's 6-6. They're 6-6.
They're a great team. They're not a bad team. They're an average team. They're an okay team. They finished 500. They're a bowl eligible team. If you want to look at it from that cutoff, they're a bowl eligible team. So I think that's kind of where you ought to maybe put the cutoff. Like, how many games did they play against bowl eligible teams? They played 3, and they're 2-1 against bowl eligible teams. The loss coming to Ohio State. They beat Michigan and they beat Washington, who are both bowl eligible teams.
Okay, so then let's go to BYU, for instance. By the way, with 10 wins, including a win at SMU, who's playing in the ACC championship game before they ever even got into the Big 12. Bowl eligible win against K-State. Bowl eligible win against Baylor. Bowl eligible win against UCF. Do they have not UCF. Against there's one more in there. Who's the other?
They lost to Kansas.
They did lose to Kansas. There's another one in there though. I can't think who it is. Anyway, you got to win at SMU. And you beat K-State, you beat Baylor on the road. I mean, come on. That's a way better resume than what Indiana's rolling out there with. Your losses are to Kansas, who we know, and the problem is Kansas.
They beat Baylor. Baylor's a bowl eligible team.
They beat them on the road.
Right. They did beat UCF. They're not a bowl eligible team. Utah. So, there have been, let me look here. They are 2 and they're also 2-1. No, I'm sorry, 3-1 against bowl eligible teams this year. So they're slightly better than Indiana is.
But road wins at SMU and Baylor are significantly better than any win Indiana has on the schedule. Not even close. If Michigan at home is your next best win, it's not even close. And so, look, I didn't intend for this to be like a poop on Indiana segment. Indiana's had a great season. I'm happy for their season. It's not their fault that the schedule they were handed in the Big Ten sucks. But the problem with the Big Ten is these Big Ten teams are being rewarded, and there are 4 good Big Ten teams and then a bunch of bad ones. And so I don't have a problem with the SEC getting 3 or 4 teams in because I think that league holistically is good. But the Big 12 is going to get screwed here because they didn't have the elite team, but they had a bunch of really good teams. I'd much rather see BYU or Colorado win.
I can tell you right now that it doesn't matter what ends up happening in the Big 12 title game. The Big 12 is not getting 2 teams in. It's not going to happen. They'll get the conference champion, and that's it.
Your only chance is that BYU would be ranked ahead of Indiana, but they're not ranked ahead of them now. They're not, and they don't play another game. So it's not. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it will not happen.
Yeah, they won't fall. But I'm saying right now, what I'm saying is, I think resume to resume, Indiana's is terrible. It's the worst of these teams. Even Boise State's resume is better than Indiana's. Boise State's schedule was better than Indiana's, and so. Yeah, look, the teams, Indiana's not going to fall. Who could jump them? Boise could jump them if they win. Arizona State could jump them if they win. That puts Indiana down to 11. And then who else do we have there? Is there anybody else?
Them? Is Miami like? Do they?
Miami's not playing because they're not playing a game. Clemson,
right.
Where's Clemson? Clemson could jump them.
18th. And they've got 3 losses. Clemson is a 3-loss team.
But a 3-loss team that's an ACC champion's going to get in. So they would, whether they jump them or not, in theory, they'll move. They'll move up. SMU, does SMU fall below them if SMU loses the title game? Probably. So they, one way or the other, they maintain a spot there. My contention is they shouldn't be 9th right now. And again, this is the AP. So they're 10th in the CFP. They shouldn't be in last week's CFP. They shouldn't be 10th. They shouldn't be that high. They have not played anybody. They haven't beaten anybody of significance this year. And so whatever, like this is bound to happen every year. They're going to get into the CFP and they're going to get boat raced. And that's what's going to happen. I think there are a lot of teams that would fare better, and I don't think they deserve it. And, it's just one of those fluky things where they didn't happen to play anybody that was good except one team, and they got beat by 3 touchdowns.
Well, I do think it brings up a discussion about how much the CFP is influenced by the AP Top 25, and it's influenced a ton. And it goes all the way back to the preseason polls, right? Like where teams are ranked at the beginning of the season. And then you either need to win a bunch to move up, you need to have teams fall down. Like it all starts with where they're ranked at the very beginning of the season. I know that you want to have some sort of
Indiana didn't have much of a ranking preseason, did they?
Well, you're right, but they've won enough, and enough teams have fallen down where they've moved up, over time. And I think it's fair to say that the CFP is probably at least in some way influenced by the top 25. And so, are you ever going to get a fully equitable method of distributing out where these teams are ranked and what the playoff should be? No. I just look at the other teams that are behind Indiana, and I'm not sure that there's another one that right now definitive on Tuesday before the conference championship games that I would put above Indiana. So I don't disagree with you as far as their strength of schedule. There are going to have to be other things that happen in these conference championship games for me to be convinced that Indiana shouldn't be in.
It's not like a slam dunk, and I totally agree. And again, that was not my intention of this segment at all. It just, like, as I'm looking at it, they're the one team that's going to skate through and just happen to get you. They're just going to get there. Had Georgia lost to Georgia Tech, we'd have a really interesting situation here, because as that was unfolding, if you looked at it as that was unfolding, you would have had a situation where Texas would get in, and I don't know who Texas would have played in the SEC title game if it wasn't Georgia, but Georgia would not have gotten in. Right? Maybe Alabama creeps up, but there was a real chance you were looking at like 2 teams in the SEC, and then Georgia, held on. Texas won, so now they're totally safe. Tennessee's going to get in. Alabama's probably going to get in, so they got saved. But this is why I love all of this, because this discussion is far better than Florida State being undefeated in the ACC and winning its conference championship game and not getting into the playoff last year. Like that we don't have to have that stupid discussion anymore. And the fact that conference champions get in, as mad as, in some hand wringing as you'll see, and we'll have Tim Fitzgerald in Thursday, and he'll be mad that, there's only one Big 12 team in and all these things. The reality is now the conference is represented. They can get out there and prove it. This is the team, whichever one it is, that over the course of a season earned the right to be there. It's too bad that only one did, but it's not egregious. They've all got 2 losses or more, right? Like, we knew that was the case. You got to have, if once you get into 2-loss territory, you're going to be fringy. Period. End of statement.
You're going to need some help. You're going to need some help for sure.
We knew it going in. Yeah. And unfortunately, yeah, I do think Colorado is good enough to be there. I do think there are teams like that aren't going to get there, but they lost 3 games. So it is what it is. And you just have to live with it.
Colorado, you can't go to Arrowhead and lose to the Jayhawks, a team that missed bowl eligibility. You can't do that. And so that's the ultimate crux of the entire conversation, is that all you can control are the results of the games that you play. That's it. So if you don't want to be fringy, if you don't want to be in a scenario where you're right on the edge, are you going to get in? Are you not going to get in? How is that? Win your games.
Win your league.
Don't lose 3 games.
Win your league first and foremost. Yeah. And look, I love it. I love it. I love it. The reality is these fringe teams are unlikely to be our national champion, because of the fringiness that we've seen. Could it happen? Sure, it could. But can they get on a 3 or 4 game run that way? Probably not. It's another reason the playoff's better. You've really got to earn it in a playoff where you've got to win at least 3 games, right? And so it'll sort itself out. We're getting our conference champions in. We've got a great story in Boise. They've got something to prove this week. Look, if Boise doesn't win, they're not going to get in. So they got there's all kinds of stuff that you can't tell me that the last 2 weeks, last week and this championship weekend, have ever been better in college football, because it has not been. So for all the people out there that says it waters down the regular season, I submit to you this season, and last week has never been better than it was last week. That week of the college football season has never been that good. Because in normal years, Georgia, we're not locked into that game because Georgia's not getting into the top 4 anyway, right? It doesn't matter if they win or lose to Georgia Tech. And then whatever. It's better. Hopefully everybody enjoys it. I think it'll be fun, and it'll be fun to discuss as we come down the home stretch. Those CFP rankings, by the way, they come out tonight. We're going to take a quick break. Dan Israel joins us next, our Chiefs insider. Oh boy, do we have a lot to cover with Dan this week. That's coming up. It's all Brockton Caster, Chad Chambers producing. Don't go away.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere. Bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20-plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrocht and Tommy Kester.
Caught! Touchdown! Kansas City!
Hey, Chiefs Kingdom, we have you covered. Joining Sports Daily Live, executive producer of the Chiefs Radio Network, Dan Israel.
And welcome back in, everybody, to Sports Daily. We are glad to be here with Dan. It's wash, rinse, repeat right now with the Kansas City Chiefs. Jacob Albrocht, Tommy Castor with you to start things off in hour number 2. I don't know, Dan. I don't know what else to say. I'm going to start here. 14 carries from the running backs. I ran this yesterday on the TV side of things. And when you take away the carries by quarterbacks and wide receivers, it is such a strange trend to see the running back carries drop the way that they have. And it correlates right with the Chiefs playing these games a little closer than they should. I don't understand it. I don't understand the desire to drop Mahomes back 46 times in a game, the way that their offensive line is playing on the edges. Make it make sense to me, Dan. Why are they not running the ball with these running backs?
Well, as Coach said, they brought an additional man up in the box, but you got to adjust to that. I mean, at some point you can't go the whole game and just say, well, they brought an extra man in the box, let's just abandon the run. Now I do think that, if the passing game had been a little more effective, it might have opened things up for them and they just kept trying to get that going. But, man, the passing, Wanya Morris had a bad day. I've said throughout this winning streak that good teams find a way to win. Unfortunately, the inverse is true there too. Bad teams find a way to lose, and I think that was the case. Sunday, the Chiefs should consider themselves lucky. It should be a wake-up call.
Talking about that offensive line, Dan, a little bit. I mean, of course, yeah, Wanya had a really, really bad game. It got to the point to where you saw, some visible frustration from Patrick Mahomes. And then, not that long after that, you see Joe Thuney sliding over to the left tackle position. We don't know yet if DJ Humphries will be ready to go at game speed. Andy Reid kind of said that it was up to him to see how well he felt, going into this game on Sunday night. But what do you anticipate we see, regardless if DJ Humphrey plays or not? Like, is that something where, if Humphries doesn't play, do you think we'll see Joe Thuney more, consistently at left tackle?
Look, let me preface this by saying they don't play Max Crosby every week, and he's a beast. But I also feel like Wanya needed to just catch his breath. I mean, it got so bad there at the end of the game that, as you mentioned, I mean, even Patrick Mahomes was visibly upset about it. And so I think they got to do something here. I don't know if we'll see Kingsley start. If DJ Humphries is in, coach was very uncommittal about that. I don't think you'll see him start. I don't think you'll see him have a ton of snaps. I do think if they start Wanya or Kingsley and things don't go well, that's when you'll see him bring in DJ Humphries. I'm excited to see what he's got left in the tank because, I mean, there's just no doubt the play of these tackles. And look, it's not just the left side, right? It's the right side as well. The play of these tackles is just not championship caliber at this point.
But that's the thing with the runs. Like you're putting Mahomes at so much risk having him drop back 46 times in a game. And I think about some of the edge rushers, and Max Crosby was a great example of it. They're going to face a lot of these guys in these games. Like how many times would you like TJ Watt to have an opportunity to rush Patrick Mahomes when they play the Steelers? Right?
Zero.
And so I look at it and you go, like, if you go back, I mean, they were sort of in their wheelhouse in some of these games back to September when they were running it. Basically, the running backs were running it anywhere between around like 23 to 30 carries a game. And then all of a sudden in that game against Denver, it dropped 16, 15, 18, and 14 for a season low last week against the Raiders. I just don't understand. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, you got to have more trust than that just to protect Mahomes, if nothing else.
Yeah, it has to be more balanced. And I think, you've got to have an alternative to them stacking the box, whether that's leaving, 12 personnel on the field and having those tight ends actually stay in and block versus going out for passes. You got to have some way to compensate for that other than trying to get them out of it with a passing game, because in this situation with a pass rush, I mean, you're dead in the water. And then I think that's what we saw against the Raiders. I think there was an additional problem, and we need to talk defense, of course, here as well. But I think offensively, they had one solution for unstacking the box, and that was to have an effective passing game, and they really couldn't get that going either. So I'd like to see them, bring in some extra guys on the line, tackle eligible
Jumbo, right? But just think about it. If you're the opposing defensive coordinator, what would you do right now? If I know the Chiefs are going to check out to a pass, and I know that my best opportunity as a defense is my pass rush against those tackles, well, then hell yeah, I'm going to stack the box too, so that I know they'll throw the ball and we get a chance at a pass rush.
Yeah, and you saw at the end of that game, Mahomes just became almost, they take the snap and immediately bounce out of the pocket, which is, moving the pocket's one thing, but Yeah, nor can I. I mean, they sacked him how many times? And so, like I said, Max Crosby's a beast. You're not going to see that every week, but and I do think Wanye will have a better game against someone when he's not having to go up against him all day. But there's just too many problems right now with the philosophy that they're using, which is we've got a powerful run game. I think the offensive line does better at blocking for the run. And so I don't understand why you just don't try to pound. We saw that the Eagles versus the Ravens. They just didn't give up on it. And eventually Saquon gets going and starts busting it out. In the second half, Saquon had a great game, man. And they ended up winning the game over it. So I'd like to see us do that, a little more. It's got to be more balanced. It can't be 10, 15% of the plays. It's got to be more than a third, if not half.
Dan, I think that some of it, in my opinion, last year they ran the ball a lot, but that was out of necessity. They didn't have any pass catchers outside of Travis Kelce that were reliable hardly at all to be able to go to. And now I think that some of it is that they feel like they've got DeAndre Hopkins and they've got Xavier Worthy. They've got Juju Smith-Schuster. Like they've got more reliable pass catchers. So I'm sure that in their mind, some of it is, well, we've got to be able to utilize those guys. We don't have to, even though they do need to. Maybe in their minds, we don't have to run the ball out of necessity as much because we've got some pass catchers that we actually trust.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. They're trying to feed the ball. They're trying to get DeAndre Hopkins going, and Hopkins looks great, man. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I just feel like, if you're going to allow the secondary and the linebackers sometimes to drop into coverage, you're going to get coverage sacks at the very least. And so the alternative to that is, rushing the football. And even if you send the back out into the flat, there's nothing wrong with that either. But I guess I feel like, there's a lot of mouths to feed. There's no doubt. But if your alternative to poor tackle play is to rush the football, that's what you got to do. You've got to keep Mahomes upright, because if Mahomes gets injured and he has a season-ending injury, or even an injury that takes him out for 5 or 6 weeks, the three-peat chances become nil.
Yeah, I mean, season's over at that point.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. And Isaiah Pacheco, you got your explosive runner back. We saw it in the game. Like, he's busted up. Was that 34-yarder? I mean, I don't know. The defense on the other side. The other thing running the ball does, Dan, helps defense, keeps them off the field.
That's true.
What is anything that you're seeing defensively right now in the struggles? I say struggles. They held Vegas in check most of the game. What's correctable there? What do you think can get better? Because it needs to get better, right? We know that. But we know the offensive line can't get a whole lot better because there's not much they can do. Defensively, is there anything they can do to get better, you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they've got a lot of youth there. I thought them playing Joshua Williams for Najee Johnson was an improvement, at least for that game. I just think they're asking an awful lot out of the linebackers to cover the run and then drop into coverage if it's not a run. I mean, that's a lot to ask. And I'm not sure Nick Bolton in particular is built for that. That's not what he's best at. And so I feel like they've got to figure out a way to have the secondary be the secondary. And whether that's playing more nickel and dime, I don't know. But I feel like they're right now, Coach Spagnuolo is asking a lot out of those linebackers, and I'm not sure they're physically capable of what he's asking them to do. Now, again, I'm second guessing Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo, who are both going to go into the Hall of Fame someday as coaches. But I feel like, they're a little bit running out of time, because I mean, the defense for the last 3 weeks has gotten worse every game. And, again, Chris Jones has got to play better. They've got to get Charles Omenihu back in there. They've got to be able to get pressure with 4, in my mind. If they can't get pressure with 4 guys, then you're cutting the legs out from under the defense.
I think maybe I overestimated what the return of Charles Omenihu would do to the defense as a whole. It certainly in the game against the Raiders certainly helped the pass rush. I mean, his presence helped allow Chris Jones to get 2 sacks. He was, disruptive, all of that. That was great. I did think going into the game, at least I was hopeful that by having an additional pass rusher like a Minihue in the lineup, that might help take a little bit of pressure off of the secondary a little bit, or at least maybe help them play a little bit better. I'm not sure that it really necessarily did much of that. I didn't see, sure, maybe an incremental improvement with the entire defensive unit, but I'm not sure that outside of his own, linebacker unit or edge rushing unit, that it really did a whole lot of, I don't want to say good, but it didn't really overall improve the defense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, 17 points is 17 points. It's not like they scored 30 points, but and they had other substitutions in there as well. Like I mentioned, Joshua Williams is playing. How do you know whether it was a physical improvement by Williams or the improvement of Minihue getting pressure on the in the first level? So it's hard to tell, and I think that's why coaches go back and look at film and study film, and they just got to figure out, what's going on and how do I attack this? And again, the Chargers in particular, they got a lot of talent, man. I'm not sure they've performed at the level of the talent they have, but I think Jim Harbaugh is getting this thing, corrected, and it's not going to be an easy task against Justin Herbert. So they're going to have another kind of puzzle to solve this week in my mind. And it'll be interesting to see how Coach Spagnuolo does it, because I just don't feel like the grades they've gotten the last 3 weeks have been really Spags-like.
So the Chiefs are favored here, and I think a few things with the Chargers that are interesting. We'll watch Ladd McConkey and see if he plays. We know that J.K. Dobbins just went on IR. Gus Edwards is fine, but I don't think he's the same kind of explosive runner that J.K. Dobbins can be. Yeah. And then, of course, they've got Bosa over there. And, so is Bosa what Max Crosby is? Maybe not this year, but we know it's there. It feels like this should be a pretty good test for Kansas City and the things that we need to be able to see them do against a good team now, because the last 2 teams they played, of course, are not very good. Now they play a good team that can do these things, and I'm kind of excited for the challenge, as Andy Reid always likes to say, that the Chargers are going to bring on Sunday night. Yeah, you mentioned Joey Bosa, and he's capable of so much. He's just always banged up, and they're wound so tight that, both the Bosa brothers, they're wound so tight. They're constantly dealing with injuries. And I'm not sure you ever see, even when they're on the field, I'm not sure they're at 100%, maybe the first game of the season. That's it. But I don't know what to expect out of him. He does move around more than Max Crosby does. So that presents an additional challenge where sometimes he's here, sometimes he's there. And, now you've got both tackles trying to figure it out and where he's coming from. And sometimes he'll even come through the middle. So a little different player, but man, when he is on fire, he's dangerous. And so, defensively, I think, or offensively, the Chiefs have to figure out how to use his aggression against him. Sometimes guys like Max Crosby, guys like Joey Bosa, guys like even TJ Watt, they're so aggressive that that can be used against them. They fly up the field so fast to try to get there that they can fly right past the quarterback. So I think the offensive goal here is to kind of mitigate some of that, and then, figure out a play for the coverage that you're in. When you're in man, you do this. When you're in, I just feel like the play calling last week was kind of anemic. I mean, they just wouldn't give up every time they'd line up. Mahomes was in the shotgun, and you just had to wonder, was he really going to hand it off or not? And they're not even leaving those backs, the running backs back there, always to block. They send those guys out into the flat too. It's like, okay, he's got 5 receivers and no time to throw to any of them. So I don't know. I just feel like offensively, the Chargers are good enough on defense that they're not great. I don't think they're as good maybe as even the Denver Broncos, or certainly not as good as the Philadelphia Eagles are. They looked fantastic. But I feel like they're good enough that it's going to be a big challenge. And then defensively, they're going up against a real quarterback this week. Herbert's the real deal and can do a lot. He's just
kind of figuring it out as they go. And certainly their play calling is more balanced. So that presents an additional problem. Again, on the linebackers, with a balanced play calling, if half the plays are runs, half the plays are pass, you're asking the linebackers to man, every play to kind of be concerned of what they've got, right?
How real is the Jim Harbaugh effect? I mean, I feel like it, he's obviously done a great job this year with this team and with Justin Herbert, with the offense, with basically every phase of the team. I feel like, the Chargers used to be a team that I felt like if they had a ton of talent, they were going to find a way to screw it up. Like that's just kind of what they did. I don't feel like that's this Chargers team anymore. And I think a lot of that is due in large part to Jim Harbaugh.
No, I think it is as well. I mean, I think his record stands for itself, whether it be NFL or collegiate. He's managed to make winning programs everywhere he's gone. The 49ers team was a very good team that he was in charge of. Now, he is a little crazy. I mean, he was that way as a quarterback, right? But I think from Justin Herbert's standpoint, having a head coach that was a tenured quarterback in the National Football League that knows exactly what he's going through, I think that's that's a guy on your side, right? You got to think that offensively he sees things the same way I do, and so I think it's been a big deal. Plus, I think guys want to play for him. I think he's got that kind of charisma where, he's sound in what he's asking them to do, and they know his credibility is good. He was a good quarterback. He was a good head coach in other teams. So I think it's been a huge deal for them.
I think it has too. And he just you can just watch the videos of him interacting with Herbert on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really good stuff. All right, Dan, it's a Sunday night broadcast. It should be a ton of fun. What do you guys have in store for us over on the network?
We're trying to get Chris Collinsworth in there. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that yet or not, but that's our goal for this week.
Chris Collinsworth on the broadcast. You'll hear it, of course, on the Chiefs Radio Network, right over on KNSS with us, as you always do here in our Odyssey family. Dan, next week we're going to come on and we're going to be like, man, the Chiefs ran it 30 times in that game. That was great. It was so good.
That would be good. I wouldn't mind that a bit.
I don't know if it'll happen. Chargers can play good defense. All right, Dan, thanks. We'll talk again next week.
Have a good day.
There goes Dan Israel. A lot to talk about there. We can react to that if you'd like. The IHOP hotline will be back open now. Of course, brought to you by IHOP, which is the official breakfast partner of Xbox, celebrating exclusive Xbox merchandise, games, reward offers for loyalty members. That's open back for you. You can also go back and listen for free on the Odyssey app. That gets podcasted out. We know that there are about 10,000 of you in a month that do that. We really appreciate it. We can't say thank you enough. So download the app and download our show that way. You can listen to it whenever you want. It's a good way to do it. Really, Tommy, this just coming down, sad news. K-State fans, Dana Dimel passed away. Of course, longtime K-State assistant, as highly regarded a coach, anecdotally as I've ever heard from there. So our condolences to his family. Of course, his son Winston, a great player at K-State. He is now, I believe, at Illinois, but just a great, great Wildcat. Passes overnight. Dana Dimel, age 62. We'll be right back.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch. 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSTW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here. Celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily here on KFH. A lot covered there with Dan Israel. If you missed any of it, you can go back and listen to it for free on the Odyssey app. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Castor here, Jad Chambers producing. Let's talk about some of that with the Chargers. Yeah, I pulled those numbers yesterday, Tommy, and they're wild. Like, it's not just that they're not running it a ton. Like, the number of times running backs are carrying it are dropping. Like, they're coming down. And yeah, if it's because stacking the box, then yeah, defensive coordinators are going to keep doing that. I would. I would love to make Patrick Mahomes throw the ball. And it's not just that, it's not because I don't think that the Chiefs passing offense isn't good. The Chiefs passing offense is better right now than it has been all year. It's that I give my defenders the best chance to make a big play by the Chiefs throwing the ball, because you can come up with sacks and you can come up with Mahomes forcing the ball, rushing it, making a bad throw, like all of those things. That can't be the reason you give up the run. Run it anyway.
You know, it used to be also that, teams would throw the ball, like the obvious passing downs when they were behind the sticks on second or third down. Honestly, I'm at the point now when you've got Pacheco and Hunt, I don't care if it's 2nd and 12. Run the ball with them again, because like Pacheco has that explosive capability to be able to break off big runs. Kareem Hunt can take defenders with him and get yards after contact. And then you're setting yourself up for better situations on third down. What ends up happening, and this happens quite a bit, is that, maybe they run the ball on first down, although in some cases, especially in the second half against Vegas, they were still throwing it on first down. But even if you have a short run on first down or you're behind the sticks on first down, well, then you become extremely one-dimensional and predictable. Defenses, they know that they don't even need to bring an extra man or two. They don't need to blitz. They can get to Patrick Mahomes. They can make him uncomfortable. They can bring him down. And then by and large, you're dealing with third and long situations. And so just as you're kind of working through figuring out, all right, how are we going to plan out the way a drive is going to go? I mean, every coach in the world would say you'd rather have a 3rd and 2 than a 3rd and 9. And like that's what has been happening, I think, quite a bit more often, because they're not really willing to lean into that run game and actually try to find a way to establish that.
It's the strength of your team. As good a passing team as you are, with that interior line, with Pacheco back and Hunt, Hunt reminds me right now of like what Zeke Elliott did. Not now but is like last year or two with the Cowboys. And the one thing I always said about Zeke is he's always going forward. He never loses yards. Even if he falls down, he gains 3 yards. And that's what Hunt does. And just utilize that. Keep the other offense off the field and protect your quarterback. I will be surprised if they don't try to course correct. And this honestly isn't even the best game to do it. But you got to do it anyway. At some point last year, and I think you've brought up a good point because maybe they didn't have a choice. Last year, they made it their identity to control the clock and do these things. And honestly, they should be better at that this year, right? And they just won't do it. And it doesn't make any sense, and I can't figure it out. Is obviously the first question Andy Reid was asked yesterday, and he kind of chuckled a little bit. And said what he always said: I got to put them in better position. Blah blah blah. It's just it doesn't make any sense. I don't know what I think about this weekend's game. They've played down to I keep saying Oakland. They played down to Vegas. They played down to Carolina. Are they going to play up then to the Chargers? I think the answer to that is probably yes, because they just sort of meet the competition wherever they're at all year long. And so, yeah, I think they'll be in a position to win this game like they are all the others. And it's, if you're the Chargers, you're salivating at the opportunity to go win this game. There's no question about that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw somebody on social media, and I'm going to paraphrase here, but in describing the Chiefs, that they play the Buffalo Bills, and it's going to be a close game. They could play, I don't know, Campus High School, and it would be a close game. Like that's just kind of what the Kansas City Chiefs do. And that's kind of become, we laugh about it, but it's kind of the truth. So I don't know. I mean, the thing about the Chargers, I mean, it is a really, really, really difficult matchup, and a more difficult matchup this time around, I think, than when they faced each other a few weeks ago. Because now you've got more games with Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh to gel together. You've really seen that come along. Ladd McConkey, assuming he is healthy enough to go, has been a revelation for them as a pass catcher the last few weeks. And he is definitely a volume type guy for Justin Herbert. Quentin Johnston has looked improved over the last few weeks, especially compared to last season. And then, knowing what they bring out there defensively too, the Chargers, they're not the best defense in the NFL, but they're a top 10 defense. And the Chiefs also are a bottom 10 defense right now. And so I think that, you have to keep your eyes on that also. I just have a concern about whether or not the Chiefs will consistently be able to deliver offense. And one thing we didn't talk to Dan about today, but we did talk about yesterday on the show, is just the struggles that Kansas City has had in the red zone. And you've got to do a better job when you are in the red zone against a team like the Chargers. You cannot walk away from drives with 3 points instead of 7. You just can't do it and expect to win. So I don't exactly know what the solution is. It's probably trying to run the ball more again in the red zone, but they have to try to find ways to get the ball into the end zone when they have those opportunities.
I mean, I think start there. To try that. I struggle historically with their red zone stuff because there's no team more creative in the red zone than the Chiefs are at doing different things. And they take so much pride because it's so complicated down there. But yeah, maybe sometimes it doesn't have to be, or at least just see if you can plow forward and get it done. And sometimes that's easier to do from 6 or 7 yards out than it is from 1 yard out because the defense maybe doesn't see it coming to the same degree. And Isaiah Pacheco is really good at finding the end zone. I think the healthier he gets and the more he comes along in that way, the harder it will be for them not to run the ball. But the Vegas game is the microcosm just because of how many times Mahomes threw it. Not effectiveness of run, nothing else, but just to think about Max Crosby and the history those two have had 46, and I don't know if he played every snap, but 46 opportunities to try and get Mahomes. They just can't do that in the postseason. Like they can't do it this week.
They can't do it. They can't do it the final 5 games of the regular season.
What I mean. And I keep hearing not every team has Max Crosby, but they all do in the postseason.
But it's not just that. Even the teams that they're playing the final
Panthers
5
got
games,
5 times.
You've got Joey Bosa coming up. You've got Myles Garrett coming up. You've got, the players that TJ Watt coming up on Christmas Day. Like these, they've got what's the young guy for the Texans, Anderson. They've got Will Anderson. The Houston Texans do. Like these teams that they're facing, even in the remaining games in the regular season, all have a dynamic pass rusher. So it's not just the playoffs. You've got to stem this tide now. And whether it's DJ Humphries, whether it's throwing multiple other players to help block in the backfield, backs, tight ends, I don't care. Or just pounding the ball and unfortunately, taking the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands more than what he did last week. You've got to do something.
That's the thing. It's not like you're giving those guys fewer opportunities to make big defensive plays. And if you can keep them on their heels, right, and don't be so predictable that on 2nd and 6, basically everything but first down becomes a passing down right now for the Chiefs. That's what we're looking at. The Chiefs will run the ball on first down, and every other down becomes a passing down. And the defenses know it. That has to change. Mix it up. Keep those guys on their heels. Your left tackle likely the rest of this season has no chance by himself. Okay, that's not going to change. If Humphries changes that, that's fantastic. He wasn't on a roster for a reason. Let's not let's not make that mistake.
He was hurt. He was injured.
But he was
coming off of a torn ACL.
Exactly. That's a problem. And so, right, let's not put too much in the basket of Humphries will save everything.
No, I don't think he's going to save everything.
I don't know that he'll be any better.
No, I think even DJ Humphries off the street, cold. Have you watched Wanya Morris and Kingsley?
No, I have, but I also watched Joe Thuney slide over there and get dominated too.
Joe Thuney's not a left tackle. I mean, Joe Thuney has played that position, but he's playing out of his natural position.
He's got 2 good ACLs though. That's what I mean. Like, I don't know what Humphries has in the tank right now coming off an injury like that.
At this point, I mean, what other option do you have?
You don't. I'm not saying don't do it. I love the move. I'm not. He's a 30-year-old tackle that is coming off of a significant injury.
Don't you think that if they weren't confident about his health and his ability to slide right in and get ready to go, there are a number of left tackles that are still free agents that are older, but that are presumably healthier, at least not coming off of ACLs, I think they would have probably signed one of those guys to be able to come in and play right away. They clearly saw in DJ Humphries that he was game ready and he could come in and be an immediate improvement.
I think Andy Reid could get out there and be an immediate improvement.
I think you could get out there and be an immediate improvement.
I just
and
like
you're as scrawny as they come.
I'll fall down and trip him or something. Is that allowed? Like, that's how I played football growing up.
You'll kick him in the crotch. Like, you'll do whatever you need to do.
I'll go Mickey Blaze on him if I have to. Just keep him out of the. That's how I played football growing up. Right. I would just eat it, like run me over, but you're gonna go down when you get, I'll wear it and get demolished, but you're being tackled. That was kind of my plan in football. It worked. I mean, it was good. I didn't miss tackles, but boy, I felt it when I tackled somebody. I don't think I ever laid a hit on anybody. No, Humphries should be better. I think he'll be better. I hope he's better. But I think for the Chiefs' outlook to be, maybe Humphries will be better, is a foolish outlook.
I don't think it is. I think that it's desperation and, necessity that Humphries should be better because what they trotted out there has been abysmally bad. Do I think he's going to walk in and be a Pro Bowl caliber left tackle like he was a few seasons ago right away? Absolutely not. But at least even an incremental upgrade is still an upgrade.
I totally agree, but to me, it's not the best likelihood or solution. The best likelihood or solution is to just see you are in no danger of not making the postseason. Let's just see what happens if you go back to running it 35 times a game. They did that this year. It's not like this is some foreign concept that the Chiefs have never done before. They've run it 30 plus times this year without Isaiah Pacheco on the field.
Also, and to Dan Israel's point, without DeAndre Hopkins, I think that there's been an intentional, and not that it's a bad thing, an intentional emphasis on getting the ball to DeAndre Hopkins and getting a good rapport built between Mahomes and Hopkins. I think it's there. I think that what Hopkins brings is, but I think that that's been some of it, and not just Hopkins, but also getting Xavier Worthy up to speed and having him be able to be a guy that you can count on consistently as a rookie and all of that. That's been, I think, a key emphasis. Like, we've got to build that and grow that. And unfortunately, it's been at the expense of running the football.
We'll see. It's going to be a tough test. We're going to talk more about it as the week goes on. We'll watch the injury reports as well. Breaking news, Royals fans. Of course, the home of the Royals here on radio broadcast. We get some information on how you'll be able to watch the Royals next year. That has been up in the air. I don't know if people have been following that. We get our answer. That news just coming down. I'm seeing it from Jalen Thompson, friend of the program here at the KC Star. We'll go over that next. Where and how do you watch Royals games next year? We'll talk about it on Sports Daily.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch. 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Busy night for the Shockers here on KFH. You've got the Chris Lamb Show as Wichita State Volleyball gets ready for the NCAA tournament opening against SMU. Should be exciting. That is at 5 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, Terry Nooner Show, women's basketball, coming off a win last night. And then at 7 o'clock, you get the Paul Mills Show. I'm interested to hear from Coach after that tournament, Feast Week tournament. One game that was a really nice win for Wichita State and one that they'd like to forget, but we'll get all of that for you. 3 hours of Shocker Coaches shows for you tonight on KFH. Welcome back into Sports Daily. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Castor here. Tommy, we just get the news here. We kind of been waiting for this. I think it's what we anticipated, but what's been happening with Major League Baseball and basically what had been in the Bally networks, right, has been very much up in the air. Teams are doing different things. The Royals were not a team that had any decision finalized yet, but ultimately it looks like we're going to be in a very similar situation to what we were in a year ago. It's now called, I think, the FanDuel TV or something, but it will be FanDuel Sports Network. So it's basically going to be the same as it was a year ago. If you're on cable locally or maybe even satellite, you'll get it. Streaming will now be as a part of the FanDuel Sports Network app or Amazon Prime. It'll still be pay-based, though. So, to stream them, you'll still have to pay. We don't have the details on how much that's going to cost yet. But, it'll be, for the traditional cable and satellite people, it should still be a channel like it always has been.
Yeah, I think one of the major changes, and I don't have total confirmation on this, but I know that the FanDuel Sports Network is available as a channel, like on YouTube TV. If you have that, like I've got that's one of the channels.
But I don't know that their regional one is. I think I think they've just sort of taken over everything Bally was doing. Is what it looks like. But
I also know
I could be wrong. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and I also know that the Royals have an agreement with Amazon Prime, and so while that will be an add-on, if you have Prime Video, then you should be able to access the Royals games for an additional cost, which is nice because, like last season, you had to have, if you weren't in the local KC area or your cable provider didn't have that channel, then you had to download the Bally Sports app, and that was the only way you could get it. If you've got Prime Video, it's going to be another add-on, but at least a lot more people probably have that option.
And I'm going to guess that if you don't have Prime Video, that FanDuel TV app is much better. That Bally app was terrible.
It was really bad.
So
it was really bad.
I think the access to them will be a little smoother. As far as the cost, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not sure. Major League Baseball's got this issue, and I don't know what the best move for baseball is, because one of the reasons the Yankees, for instance, are so valuable is because they have their own TV network, basically, with the Yes Network. So, like, it's going to be hard to get teams on board with this across the board. That's why baseball has this sort of a setup anyway. The Royals, according to Jalen in his article, the Royals were top 10 in viewership last year across Major League Baseball. So, just goes to show that you put a product out there that's successful and people will come to it. Also, by the way, you can always listen to the Royals for free right here on KFH and on the Odyssey app. I listen to a lot of Royals baseball. Got to be honest. I drive right when they usually, I'm leaving work typically when they're getting their first pitch going, or if they're, in the Eastern time zone. So I listen to it a ton. I love listening to baseball. I love when I'm mowing the yard on the weekends in the summer, throwing on Odyssey app and just search KFH. And we tell you that all the time, only because it really is a useful tool. You wouldn't be here if you didn't love radio. Odyssey app makes it even easier to listen to all the things you like, including Royals baseball, which is always free. But we also like to watch the Royals, and that's how it's going to happen. Probably very similar to the way you've been watching them. Long term, as for ease of customers, it would be a tough pill to swallow, but should Major League Baseball just get an app on this thing and just make all the games available to people? I think
that's where we're going to get to.
I don't know if they make as much money that way. That's the only thing.
That's the biggest thing, is because of the disparity between the market sizes. The Yankees are going to make a lot more money if they handle it themselves. If they really figure out their own partner and they can, get a network in the New York City metro, they're going to make a lot more money on that. And there's going to inevitably be a revenue share if it goes at the entire league. And why would they want to share their money with a smaller market? That's always been, kind of the rub there, and why I think a large reason why we don't have a league-wide network partner.
But does it make sense at any point to do that, even if it was for not just the Yankees? Like, I don't think streaming on an app is ever as valuable as being over the air. We're getting closer probably, but I don't know for baseball if, like, you want to put your entire product there. I think you still want to bid it out as much as you can. And these regional networks have always made sense. I just, like, why can't Major League Baseball, in the markets where they're not, like, basically everywhere that this Diamond Sports Group, not to be confused with, the ownership of minor league baseball teams, why can't they just take over the regional networks and still provide access to the games that way? But what shouldn't happen is I shouldn't be able to go to be blacked out from Royals games at MLB.com. Like, that's dumb. That shouldn't happen. Just give me access to the game, right?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all that, like, with the Royals, like there's a blackout on TV for Wichita. It's a secondary market that doesn't we're almost 3 hours away from Kauffman Stadium. That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense for people in Kansas City either. Look, if I want to pay, and I get it, Sunday tickets the same way. If I want to pay for MLB.TV and you want me to pay whatever it is, $150, $300 a year, let me watch any dang baseball game I want to watch.
My team, that even if they are 2.5 hours away or 3 hours away, I'm not going to be limited by blackouts, because I pay for MLB TV, but then I also had to pay for Valley Sports last year to get the Royals. So I'm okay with paying a flat fee, but give me all the games. Don't black me out when I'm almost 3 hours away from Kansas City. That makes no sense at all.
And give me the ability to watch the Royals in one screen and the Rangers in the other screen. If we're really getting down to it, and when Tommy ever hangs his second TV in his basement without asking his wife, he can do the same thing with the Braves and the Royals.
Give me a split screen. YouTube TV does that.
I
can watch multiple games like that. That's the way it should be.
Get you that second TV hung up down there. Don't even hang it. Just, again, set it on a pedestal, and that way you don't have to put holes in the wall. Just set it there.
I'll let you talk to my wife about that. And
no, my whole point is don't talk to her. You don't even say anything. How often does she go down there?
A decent amount, I would say.
Does she even notice?
Yeah. She notices if I rearrange something in the fridge.
I did that. So I've got a TV down here in my office, and I hung it, and I did it when my wife was gone. Like I timed it. It's not big. It's pretty small. And I was like, I got to do this. She'll never know. And it took a long time before she's like, what is that? It's TV. What are you talking about? I've had that for a long time. It's like, wait. And you got to throw the confusion back. I'm like, what kind of question is that? What is that? It's obviously a TV. All right, let's go figure out dinner.
That's called gaslighting. In case you're curious, that's called gaslighting.
I'd recommend it if you need to make something happen. We'll be right back. We'll wrap up Sports Daily after this.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right, everybody, that's it. Good show, fun show. Thanks to Dan Israel for stopping by. If you missed anything, you can go back and listen to it on the Odyssey app. Again, you got 3 hours of Shocker Coaches show coverage tonight on KFH. Make sure you tune in for that. We will have all kinds of fun tomorrow. Shreyas Laddha, our KU insider, will put a bow on the KU regular football season. Look ahead for basketball as well. Tommy, enjoy the day.
Sounds good. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
For Tommy and Chad, I'm Jacob. See you then.